What's up, it's Lynn from Paris, and you're listening to the Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. We've been away for 6 years, but we're back. We couldn't be more excited. We're going to be bringing you interviews with everyone in the Rock Sound world. We're going to be taking your feedback with listener questions, co-hosts, theme specials, spotlights, everything. It's going to be insane. We couldn't be more happy to be here. I'm Will Cross, junior editor at the magazine. And today, to kick everything off, we're going to launch our first half of our bumper special. So rather than keeping to a more regular format, we're going to bring you 4 interviews with 4 very special artists that have things going on at the moment in the rock sound world, and to kind of highlight some really interesting things about what's to come with those bands. So next week we're going to be doing the same thing again. We're going to be speaking to bands like Neck Deep, Pierce the Veil, State Champs and Mice and Men. But this week we're going to be speaking to With Confidence, Waterparks, Tonight Alive and Sleeping with Sirens. So yeah, to kick off, my co-hosts, Tams and Wills, how's it going?
Hiya!
How are you? You alright?
I'm pretty good, thank you. How are you doing, Will?
I'm very good, I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too, it's all very exciting.
It is, yeah. Can't be more excited to get this off the ground. Quick question.
Go on then.
Dream interview.
I'm gonna go with Paris because I love them. And they've got so much going on at the moment, and like that new album, I'm quite sure is probably going to be in like at least my top 5 of the year.
Nice.
Potentially the number 1 spot. But I've kind of got that like little excited jitter going on where I'm just like, oh, it's nearly here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to sit down with those guys and basically just become best friends with Lynn.
Be amazing. Yeah,
that's
cool.
my dream.
We can make that happen. And Jack, Mr. Jack Rogers, how's it going, man?
I'm alright, man. Alright, gang.
Alright, you excited?
Oh, I'm buzzing, mate. Yeah? Fit to burst, almost.
Dream interview for you?
For me, I'm thinking the boys out at Shikari. Especially, we've got the promise of probably a new album coming very soon. They've got the idea, they've got the new track with Big Nasty out. They've announced Ali Pali. It's always a journey when that band releases new music, always exciting, and also just the idea to be able to sit down and just chew the fat about everything in the world, from politics to two-stepping, like two of my biggest passions.
Love it. Yeah, shout out Rao Reynolds, come on our podcast. Yeah, with me, I'm going with The Fever. I would have gone with Let Live, but Jason Butler, frontman of the now sadly split up Let Live, is teasing a very exciting new project called The Fever. Don't know much about it yet. There's a YouTube set they did outside of Randy's Donuts in LA on YouTube. Check it out. So yeah, more on that when we get it, and yeah, look forward to talking to Jason on that. So anyway, for today, we thought the best place to start would be to talk to one of the biggest new names in the rock sound world. They've created a complete storm over the past year with their album Better Weather. It's With Confidence, and I caught up with Jaden and Innie from the band to talk about the crazy year that Better Weather's brought, the US tour they did with Against the Current and State Champs and Don Broco, which sounded insane, and also the promise of new music in 2018. So some tantalising little exclusives in there for you as well. So yeah, here we go. Jaden and Innie from With Confidence. Well, Jaden, Inigo, thank you so much for coming in. I guess to kick off, it's been a year of Better Weather now.
Yeah.
Tell us some stories. It's been crazy.
A year of better weather. I like that. It hasn't felt like a year.
Yeah.
The album's gone so much better than we ever anticipated. You know, you got high hopes on that first album, but it's blown us out of the water. Some stories. We've been all around the world on this album.
It's crazy. Like, we never... I never expected to get this far in just a year, so...
Yeah.
It's crazy, like...
Yeah, there's always, like, that hope that it would go, like, so well for us so quickly, but, it's honestly, it's been, like, as cliche as it sounds, like, it's been a dream come true, like, in such a small amount of time. Like, I'm not going to pretend that we're this, crazy, massive stadium band or anything, but for where we're at, I think, yeah, we feel, like, really like proud and lucky, you know.
Yeah, definitely lucky.
And sometimes it's easy because like the extensive touring we've been doing to like get really like lost and caught up in like the day to day of everything, that you forget to see the bigger picture. But sometimes when you just you step outside of it and you just think like, hey, like I've been to all of these places around the world. I make the idea that we could continue this and make a really like fruitful career out of it. It's the coolest thing in the world, man.
That's so cool. And like speaking of tours, like you've just done a big US tour with our boys in Don Broco State Champs and Boys and Girl and Against the Current. Like I saw you guys in a mosh pit, video in a mosh pit, a massive all band mosh pit with Don Broco.
It was
sick. Like tell us about that.
Dude, that was just like when they released Pretty, they started doing this thing where they would split the crowd in half.
Do the death wall.
Do the wall of death, yeah. And one day, I think it was one of the last days, we were like watching from the balcony. I think it was New York.
Oh no, it was Boston.
Boston, sorry. We were watching from the balcony, and like I think it was maybe Ryan Scott Graham. He came out and he was like, "Yo, boys, like let's fucking go. Let's go inside." Derek came out, and then we're just like, "Yeah, okay." Everyone came out. Like, a whole bunch of us. Crew came out, and we're just like, "Fuck, let's do it," because they started playing Pretty, and we went down and we just ran into the crowd, started moshing, and then they started doing the wall of death. So all of us just spread out and started pushing everyone back, and there was just all of these friends in this thing, and the crowd was just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And then
Rob and Matt jumped in.
Josh
fucking jumped on drums.
Josh jumped on drums. It was the coolest thing. We just all went for it, ran the fuck at each other, and literally just fell apart. It was great. It was honestly the coolest thing.
Amazing. I mean, because that bill, especially, I mean, that is like the rock sound bill. Like, we love all four of you guys. Like, how was the rest of the tour?
Incredible.
Sick.
Yeah. That's our first time doing venue tours in the US.
Oh,
because we've only done Warped Tour previously to that. So this time we got to, I guess, see the city and hang out with the bands more closely and, I guess, play bigger shows and experience what touring America is like a bit more.
Yeah. It's not like Warped Tour where you're in a parking lot for ages. You get time to walk around the city, do things, and sharing a bus with Against the Current was sick because
that was cool.
Their,
that was a luxury.
Their TM literally booked them the coolest stuff to do. We went to NASA with them. We went to Universal Studios
like a
and
VIP
stuff.
tour.
It was so cool to do. Yeah.
It was sitting
robots
and
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, dude. Bloody hell, so it sounds pretty good.
It was great, dude. It was incredible.
I guess, in terms of, now you've got the experience built up, I've heard rumours, rumblings, that you're writing new music.
Yes.
How's it? Can you give us anything away of how it might be sounding?
We are writing right now. We've been, we're constantly writing, but I think now we're at the point where we are writing towards an album. We bought an acoustic guitar at the start of State Champs. A little baby Taylor. It's very cute. We love it. And I think that for us is when we really started immersing ourselves in the writing process. Just going in the back lounge of the bus and whenever we had an idea and trying to create something.
It's good to have that luxury as well. On the bus, especially with tours that we were doing, we had so much downtime. So it's oh shit, what am I gonna do for the next 3 hours? Oh, pick up the guitar, have a riff around, and see what happens. Which is good.
Yeah. I think we're writing some really cool stuff. I know Innie's got a few of his own songs right now. I've got a few of my own. I'd say collectively we probably have about 10 to 15. We're going to keep trying to write a whole bunch more.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
I think it'll be good, man.
Yeah.
I personally think I've written songs that are better than Better Weather songs. 100%. Just, I guess, the being on tour and experiencing music firsthand for a whole year straight makes you a better songwriter.
Yeah.
And I think that's reflected in what we're doing, and I'm really excited. I don't want to get too excited too quickly.
Yeah.
But we'll be in the studio at the end of this year.
No way. Cool. So 2018 release, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sick. And me and you, Jaden, we had a chat about your songs kind of represent different things. You've got the more sort of positive sounding kind of banger songs like Voldemort, things like that, and then you've got the more serious kind of slower songs, Long Night and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that something that's going to be kind of progressed on the new stuff, or are we looking at completely new stuff?
I think
I don't know. We'll see. I think I want to strive for something a bit more unique and different, but also like new for us.
Yeah.
But definitely sticking to our roots still, you know.
Yeah,
having those songs that are us.
Yeah.
But then again, having those songs that are, oh shit, we never expected this.
Yeah.
I think that'd be sick to do.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I think we'll always try to surprise our listeners in the best way possible.
Awesome.
I think we have a good grasp on what we did right in this album, and we're going to stick to that.
Yeah.
We're not going to disappoint anybody in that way, because that's what we love doing, those things that I felt like we did right. But at the same time, we're going to do it better, and we're going to do it a little differently.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And any particular bands you guys are listening to at the moment that might have some sort of influence?
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff, because that's a great question, because it really does reflect on the album you're writing to the music you're listening to at the time.
I feel like the same goes when you're touring with them, like when you're
listening to the band every night, the same thing.
Exactly.
So I would say, personally, State Champs is an influence for me.
Nice.
Don Broco even a little bit. I would say that Trophy Eyes Chemical Miracle is an album that we've all listened to a lot.
What's an album?
What an album.
Yeah.
Incredible album, so I think that will reflect a bit on what we're doing as well. Did you have any that come to mind?
I've been jamming the Main a lot.
Oh my god, sorry, yeah.
Right, yeah. And
yeah.
definitely
Lovely
Trophy
Little
Eyes.
Lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sick album as well. Like, it's so summery. Like,
exactly.
so
It's reminiscent. Like, it's a good mix of like 90s and pop. Of some sort.
Yeah.
And it's just those riffs are so fucking good, man.
Yeah, it's like Third Eye Blind. But like kind of songs where, what a band. Yeah.
100%.
Definitely that album. There's going to be a bit of that in there.
Awesome. Cool. And like, Jamie, you mentioned on the phone the other day, Brand New as well, that you guys are big Brand New fans. I mean, could we hear a bit? I mean, you can hear it in Better Weather as well, but like, will we continue to hear that kind of like noughties emo influence?
I really want to do that.
Like, I think so, yeah.
I really vibe with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Speaking of bands like that, I'm also listening to this band called like Introvert.
Oh yeah,
Australia.
yeah.
They're fucking
good bands.
dude.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah. I think bands like that, they have a bit of that, I guess, maturity to them. So I think that aspect, I think we'll try to shine that through a bit more on this one.
Awesome. Cannot wait. And like, I guess to sort of to finish up, then we'll talk a bit more about Better Weather. Like, in terms of, you guys are mentioning that you really love doing the certain things you did particularly well on that album and that sort of thing. What are when you look back a year on, like, what are the songs that really shine through for you guys that you're particularly proud of?
I guess it would be different for me in any. Personally, I would say Voldemort and Archers. Those were two that I'm pretty proud of what we did with that. I think we'll try to hold on to what we did right in those songs. Keeper,
Definitely.
I think, is like.
That's one that I always forget about. Like, I was like, oh shit, we closed with that song. Fuck.
Because that was the first song we wrote for Better Weather.
Oh,
so,
cool.
It got kind of like lost in the process now because we had all this focus at the end, but like Keeper was done,
Yeah.
But I think we did well on that.
Yeah.
Like, so.
I don't know. For me, I don't know. Like, it's weird seeing because like Dinner Bell was such a weird song to have on, and like. Seeing that being requested to be played on our international tours is just crazy. So I was like, what the fuck? And like, lyrically, that song for me is kind of important as well.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that people want to hear that. And like, especially at the end, it's like some profound shit that I don't know how the fuck I wrote that.
I love that part, man.
Yeah, everyone, I think that's like, for me, probably one of the best things I've written.
Yeah.
Like, personally. And the fact that, I don't know, I remember sitting in the room when I was writing that, and I wrote all the lyrics all at once in like about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I had the riff ready, I had the bridge and everything, but then when it came to words, I was we were in Electric Sun doing a cover or something, and I was pissed off about something, so I went in the room by myself and I just wrote, and it just didn't stop, and then it got to the end of that last line, and I was like, fuck! Where did this come from? Holy shit!
Yeah.
So it was a trip out.
No, that's awesome. So it sounds like, especially that album was a real collaborative effort then as well. Like,
Yeah, so the majority of the songs, it's myself or Inigo will come up with a basic song structure with lyrics and chords, and just a general idea, and then we'll go into Josh's shed, because that's where we do all our writing. Real DIY, we still use a fucking, like a 50-watt amp as a
we don't have
PA,
any
like,
PA.
for vocals, like...
We still have a mic stand that's made of branches.
Yeah, it's great. We love
it.
But we'll bring those songs into band practice there, and then we'll hash it out as a band.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when we're just jamming in the space as well, a song will just come out of nowhere.
Cool.
But yeah.
I'm keen to go home and do that.
Me too.
Yeah.
For a while.
So you're feeling the bars, like, you're ready. Like, yeah.
It's definitely, it's definitely there.
When you've been on the road for so long, it's just
So
like,
long.
Yeah.
It gets to you.
Yeah, God, I can imagine. And like after that, is it full kind of writing and that sort of thing?
Yeah. So we have Bar Festival in the Philippines. We have 5 weeks off at home.
Cool.
So that's going to be spent writing, pretty much full time.
Cool.
And I think in that short time, the majority of the album could be written.
Cool. So first chat that was with Jaden and Innie from With Confidence. Super exciting, I think, and a lot of things to come. Tamsin, what do you reckon?
I mean, they are just having the best time of their lives right now, aren't they? I mean, Better Weather was so good. Like, there's not been many debut albums, I think, that come out in like recent years that are as good as Better Weather, and they have just like, all you need to do is just look at what they've done with it. And I think wherever they go next is going to be absolutely huge. Like, they've kind of been teasing a few things on Twitter and stuff, like, oh, look at us, we're in the studio, what are we up to? Or just like those little things, everyone's already just like, oh my god, I can't wait, what's happening? And just like to have that buzz around your band when you've only got one album is just insane. And I'm so happy for the guys as well, because they're so lovely. And they kind of deserve like the best, really.
Definitely,
So.
you can tell they're into, like you say, you can tell they're in such a good time. And I think a lot of this success is from the kind of unpretentious nature of their songs, and they've just written a load of bangers, basically. That word's going to come up a lot. But yeah, just songs like Keeper and Voldemort to things like Long Night. It's a very versatile debut album, and I think it gives them a lot of option to do a lot of different things as they go on.
They can go off in like so many different directions and appeal to so many people, but still keep like the With-Con sound. And I think it's just going to make them stand out from so many other bands at the moment, and they're going to be huge.
For sure. I think of so many different bands, I think With-Con could be massive potentially. Jack, you saying that as well?
I think the easy thing to remember is how big and how quickly they've got to this size. Like, it's amazing, just a year since the album's come out, like, they are the now buzz band. Like, a year ago they were just like some kids like just playing pop punk songs, and now they're on the verge of something absolutely huge. And the amazing thing to listen is just how, like, they're still so young, like they're still little babies, like just looking at the world and thinking it's all amazing. Well, like, they're traveling everywhere. Like, they're in the UK, and then they're in Malaysia, and then they're in America and playing with all these bands. And yet they're still just such normal guys. Like, when you speak to them, they're the sort of people who, like you hear them talking, they mention Trophy Eyes as well.
Yeah.
Like, shout out Trophy Eyes,
like
their country mates. And it's just like, they're so stoked on music still, even though they're making music as well. Like, they're the sort of guys who you'd meet at a show and you go, oh my god, you love this band too.
Yeah.
And fucking love this band as well. Like, do you like Brand New, and do you like this? And you'd go and have a beer with them, and then they'd probably go, oh yeah, by the way, we're in a band.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we do this as well. Like, sneak it in.
Definitely. I mean, that really came across when I was speaking to them, and that, like we say, we chatted about Trophy Eyes, and we chatted about the Main and bands like that, and the way it could influence future With-Con material. And it did just kind of feel like, chatting to your mates about music, but like you say, they're just in a band that could be massive.
Yeah. Like, they just sound so full of disbelief that they're just like, they go, yeah, well, it's just funny, isn't it? It's like look at us, little old With-Con, like, on the other side of the world, talking to a magazine about these songs which we wrote about girls who broke our hearts.
Yeah.
and all that. When, like, think what they can do in like another year.
Exactly.
And another year after that, and another year after that.
Man,
it's like,
it's so cool, like, to think about that, because when you think about, in inverted commas, kind of classic rock bands in our world, you think of things like you mentioned, Brand New and Taking Back Sunday and bands like that.
Definitely.
I think With-Con could be the next Taking Back Sunday or the next Brand New. If they come back
huge,
with
call it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, bold on this podcast. Like, if they come back with a decade under the influence, or a Cute Without the E on the second album, the world's their oyster, man.
Yeah, I think that next album, whenever it arrives, is going to launch them into another world. Just taking what they've done with Better Weather and the songs and the bangers that are on the album, like they're gonna step up so much. But like already Better Weather is on another level, so like they're way ahead of so many other bands. Like I feel like they're gonna be like a step ahead of like everyone else trying to catch up with them for the next like however many years.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, didn't you say Waterfall makes you do a little dance on public transport?
Little fist pump in the air. It's like, you know, like in all the 80s romance movies where there's like little fist pump in the air and you're just like...
Like the Breakfast Club.
Club, big up Bender.
Yeah, literally, like that's me on the bus when I'm listening to Waterfall.
Amazing. And of course, talking of classic bands, they're touring with Mayday Parade in September over here.
You have no idea how stoked I am with that tour.
Yeah, Lesson Romantics 10th anniversary. I mean, we're all fans around this table. Like, this is a real platform for them, I think.
Yeah,
huge.
definitely.
It's like in the States when Mayday did that tour, they took Knuckle Puck out. Like, it's on that same level. Play these huge places to a new audience, the sort of audience who'll like connect with them. Like it's just that next step, and they can just get bigger and bigger. Yeah. So I reckon we'll see what happens.
Can't wait. Like 2018 is going to be big for that band, and I mean, I think by what they were saying as well, I think they're going to get this album done. You know, they're going to be super focused, and we will have it first half of next year, I assume. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't do a Chinese democracy.
Can you imagine?
Wait 13 years. You can wait.
Yeah, guys, don't be Guns N' Roses. That's what we're saying. Cool. So With Confidence, big up that band. So next, we thought that we'd focus on what could be the hottest new band of the Roxanne world this year. We had them on the cover earlier this year, which went down very, very well indeed. Band of Waterparks. We love them, you love them. So we caught up with Austin Knight, the crazy, brilliant, eccentric, genius man that is, to talk about a year in the life of the band, the Double Dare phenomenon, and being versatile and creating an album that really stands out on its own. Their UK tour that's selling out, and just a year in the life of Roxanne's most exciting new band. So here we go, Austin Knight, enjoy it. Austin, thank you so much for being on here for us.
Thank you for having me.
Man, it's awesome. Our readers are going to be very happy, I think.
I'm going to be very happy.
So yeah, let's just start off. Big question. Yeah. Should we just get married? Roxanne, Waterparks?
Dude, I'm really fucking down. Like, we're sweet, you're sweet. Like, we can just get together and be sweet. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Not mad.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. So I'm ready.
Awesome, man. Cool. And in terms of like Double Dare's been with us for about 6 months now. Like,
has it been?
Whoa, yeah, I know.
Weird.
It's scary, right?
Time for a new one. There's old now.
We'll get to that. How's that been? Like, did you feel a real kind of upsurge in buzz?
Absolutely. Because, like, the thing is, with EPs, you can kind of do... I mean, we still did everything we wanted to do. Like, I was like, I want to make some stuff just go full electronic. I want to make a hook where I don't even have to sing. I want to do, like... I want to start using beats and shit. Because it's like, with Cluster, that's the first time I was, like, more into home recording stuff, so I could actually demo things out before we, would go into the studio. And, like, are you familiar with their music?
I am.
Okay, cool. So,
yeah.
Let's say, like, Crave, for example.
Yep.
Like, with that hook, it would be really difficult to go into our friend's garage and be like, now listen, I don't want to sing, but I want my voice to be like... with, like, distortion layers and chopped and screwed shit, like, it'd be really hard to... like verbalize that. And the thing is, I think since I can just work on it in my room now, there's like, not that I would be self-conscious about it, but trying to explain that, and if it didn't work, it'd just be like, that was a stupid idea. But if I can just have the time to sit there and like craft it, I think that's really what helped with that. And then when we got to make Double Dare, that was just like a further expansion on like, we can do whatever we want genre-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never wanted it to be where we put out an album and someone's like, what the fuck? They just went full on pop. It's like, no shit, bitch. Like, have you heard Take Her to the Moon? Like, that's straight up like Carly Rae Jepsen, Katy Perry style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or, I mean, really whatever direction we wanted to do. Like, say we started using a bunch of beats. It's like, have you heard Dizzy? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I wanted to just make it to where, or just like, leave the door open to where we can do whatever we want. And I think since it was an album, we had enough room to accomplish that, you know what I mean? And actually, the album's only supposed to be like 10 tracks.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we had to do contractually. And it's just like, nah, I can't get rid of that. And
Yeah.
It was 11. Like, can we please do 12? Like, we already have it on the board. Let's do 12. And they're like, all right, listen, we can't not do this. And please, just 13. They're like, oh, you got to stop. Like, fuck, 13, just save the rest.
So the ideas were just coming out of everywhere.
The thing is, with the album, there were, I think it was like 40-something demos.
Wow.
Because I don't like going outside. Oh, I love going outside, but I don't like going and doing like social shit at night, really, unless I'm just like with friends getting dinner or like I'll go bowling or whatever. But for the most part, I really just like to be working. And so the songs are just like if I just got to sit home for a couple months and just demo, just based on like some of the voice memos I have in my phone, I could make like, I think I could probably, like, with the amount of memos and, like, ideas and everything. Actually, that's not fair to say, because I've been doing voice memos for, like, a couple of years, but there would be many, 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 many albums done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, what was the question?
That was a brilliant tangent. No. I guess we're just talking about the eclecticism of
right.
there.
So, just wanted to make it as, stylistically broad that we could do whatever we want and people can't really say anything,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I listen to everything, and it would be dumb to be like, oh man, well, I can't make a song like this that I would like just because it's not like pop punk. Like, that'd be stupid. Like, anyone who limits himself like that, and like, I feel like anyone who really wears the genre on their sleeve that hard, they're really not doing themselves any favors,
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I mean, I agree, and I mean, like you, I listen to so many different things, and that's something I love as a fan of Waterparks, and that especially on Double Dare, it feels like you just kind of threw caution to the wind.
Went
and
with it,
and there was just like so many different songs like that. You mentioned "Take Her to the Moon," which is completely Carly Rae.
It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, man,
I love pop. Like, girl pop is the best genre.
I agree. Yeah, one of the best genres. Yeah, amazing.
Think about it, like anyone internationally, like it's gonna sound pleasing to them, even if they don't know what the words are, because the melodies and everything are so on point always.
Yeah.
Because they're written by the best writers, and so even if you don't know what the language is, you can still like go off to it and really enjoy it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I heard we're just in Japan, and I remember so many time zones. But I heard this song. I don't know what it was. It was a very, very like not English voice. And it was so good, and I didn't know how to find it, because I didn't have like just internet everywhere on my phone.
Yeah.
I do in the States and everything.
Yeah.
But I was like, my phone is here. I'm not gonna forget that. I'm supposed to there so I don't forget. But it sounded so good, and I was just like, it's because it's girl pop. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a very pleasing sound.
Oh man, yeah, totally. I mean, do you love the Carly Rae album? Like, Emotion is sick, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I've only listened to that one all the way through, like maybe twice.
Yeah,
but dude, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, just going off on that point as well. Like, then there's a definite rocky edge to the album as well. So songs like Little Violence or Hawaii, they have they have that real kind of brunt to them as well.
Also because we are still a band. Yeah, you know what I mean? We're two guitars and drums. Yeah. Like it's for the most part, it's gonna sound like a band.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. And is that important in terms of like how you exist as a band?
Semi. I still want to be able to make anything we can. Like, I mean, I'm always making new things, and I never sit back and think like, but what about live? You know what I mean? I just want to make the best songs.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all that matters. If it really blows up, like say "Take Her to the Moon" just became like Old Navy commercial, like Gap or whatever, and it became like super big, and we had to play it. We'd figure it out. You know what I mean? There's guitars in it, and the chorus. That's actually one of the harder guitar things, like, you know what I mean? Like, in the chords, like, especially in the bridge, are actually, like, pretty complex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember teaching him to Jeff, and he was like, I might sit down on that part. And I was like, yeah. I was like, it looked cool. I'll just sit on the side of the stage if we do that.
Amazing. And I guess, like, you must have a fairly big, like, backlog of songs now then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's stuff being worked on as we speak. Austin is smiling, a very sort of evil grin as we're chatting.
The thing is, whatever we do after Double Dare has to be on point or better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It can't happen until it's there. The other thing that's difficult about that, which sort of like wrestle with sometimes, is we're not going to make the same album. Like, it's always going to be different and eclectic and everything, but we're not going to make Double Dare again. you know? And so it's hard to compare. It's like, I want to make some, like, say I'm like a chef, right? Who's like super into making everything. It's like, I'm going to make some bomb-ass Chinese food. And then it's like next course or whatever, I'm going to make some bomb-ass Italian food. You can't really compare them. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess if some people happen to like Chinese food more, they're going to like Double Dare more. But if they're into Italian food, oh shit, like game over. They're going to be stoked.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you can even hear that between Cluster and Double Dare.
Right.
Like they both got the Waterparks stamp. Like that's something that really kind of occurred to me as a listener the first time I heard your band, and that it was very unique. I was kind of like, oh, what's this? You know, there's so much going on. Like, and then hearing Double Dare, like it was kind of like, right, it sounds like the same band. It just sounds like they've done so many new things with it. You know, and that's the plan going forward.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's never going to be like, oh, this doesn't really even. I mean, actually, well, it depends on people's opinions, but. It should always sound like Waterparks. You know what I mean? We don't do like we're not having anybody write our songs for us. We're not buying songs or any shit. Like it's all coming from the same place, and so it's always gonna have that vibe. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be like, oh, it's indie pop, but it's Waterparks.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, for sure. And like you just announced UK tour as well.
First headliner.
Yes, which is selling out like
really quick.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and what can we expect from the tour? Is it going to be bells and whistles?
Dude, I don't even know. I know we, earlier today, actually, we were talking about what songs from Double Dare we could start doing that we've never done. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta start mixing it up. Let's throw in this one and this one, and like, we just gotta, get the tracks and all the keyboards and everything so we can do it.
Yeah, that's something I was going to ask. Like, is the album hard to perform? Like, because there's so much going on.
Yes and no. The thing is, I'm trying to think of everything. So, the ones that are like, I think the one that's hardest to sing is Gloom Boys.
Yep.
Just because that double chorus, man, it goes in.
It always gets me that. It's so good. Yeah.
Thank you. Dude, I love the lead though. There's like little pieces of each song where I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, I remember with that chorus when it like doubled it and everything. It was like, all right, I want to have. So over here is Barbie like a big thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there are these Barbie Jeeps. Do you know what those are? Like, where like little girls that like drive them?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to have a guitar lead that sounds like the corny like Barbie rock Jeep thing. You know what I mean? Barbie Jeep rock. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to have just like a very like bright sounding Barbie Jeep riff right there.
No way.
Yeah, that's like that was the inspiration for that.
Yeah, that is amazing. In terms of other kind of crazy inspirations then for the album, was there anything else that was particularly out left field?
Everything.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a very broad question.
I mean, like obviously the vocal cuts are like a big thing from like electronic music and stuff like that. I kind of wanted to, because when like writing and everything, a guitar lead is cool. Like, I mean, picture Crave with like, instead of like, picture like a guitar is like do 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 do. Like you could do that, but it sounds so much cool, like sonically more unique. Like, we're not trying to be like purists or anything as far as like goes. Like, really just trying to make the coolest shit we can. Because it's 2017. If you're like one of those revivalist people trying to hold on to some shit that's not happening, like, you're really just limiting yourself really bad, you know?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
completely.
So, just like, as far as, because you have to look at it as, I mean, I guess this is how I look at it. You're making music not for just the sake of showing off. You know what I mean? Obviously, because live especially, I try and make it to where I'm just playing, like, chords. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to, like, shred while I'm like, you know? And like, the thing is, I'm like, not to be like, but I'm like really, really good at guitar. Like, I can shred, I can like solo. Like, the thing is, my dad, like when I was learning, he would just bring home like guitar tabs and everything from work. He'd print them up because our printer sucked. And he'd bring me like Van Halen and like all this 80s stuff. And I'd be learning that when I was like 14, 15.
Sweet. Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm very capable of being like, but it's like songwriting. It took like kind of a second to figure it out. Like, I mean, I was doing other stuff when I was like 17 or whatever. And you've got to remember that songwriting is not a dick measuring contest. You know what I mean? You don't have to be showing off every 5 seconds. Like, you do what's good for the sake of the song. You know?
Yeah, totally.
And I don't remember how I got here either.
You were talking about the kind of, say, the eclecticism of the album how different kind of crazy things inspire.
Oh, yeah. Right. I think if we went like track by track, we could probably do this pretty well. Actually, okay, yeah, with like It Follows, it's one of my favorites. I was like, it'd be cool to make like a Death Cab kind of song, and then I naturally just kind of make everything more punky, and so it's like kind of like a punky Death Cab song, and then it's like through the electronic stuff, and because that also tends to
a Death Cab a big influence,
dude. I
what band?
Yeah, like the thing is, there are certain albums for me where I can't just have a couple songs on my phone and it's a problem. And like there are certain albums where I have to listen all the way through when I hear it. You know what I mean? I can't just be like, I'm going to listen to this one song.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to listen to Crooked Teeth and then be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, Plans is one of those albums where it has to be an all the way through thing for me.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. That Transatlanticism are just like so good.
Yeah, but, I'm also kind of guilty of like when I find something I think is sort of perfect with a group, or an artist, I just I'm like, this is all I need.
Yeah,
like I'm super guilty of it with Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
I love, dude, his Christmas album's so cool, and I have like the whole thing on my phone, and I don't listen to anything else he's done. And I know it's stupid, like it's super stupid, but it also leaves the door open if I need new things.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure. So vocally, you're reaching out to things even as far left field as Michael Bublé. Then.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed when started putting like lower register singing in the songs, people are like, "Whoa, that's tight." Yeah. Like they're like, "I'm not used to your voice being like that," and I was like, "Yeah, dude." Like, because it's like I said, like. Not even just genre-wise, stylistic. Like you need to push your voice, push everything to do, to reach different. I guess, just different things. Like I've never sung as high as I have on "Stupid for You,"
right?
On a thing. I've never sung as consistently low in a song as It Follows. Like, and I think it's just important to like push yourself like that. And like Little Violence, I've never been like, but alas, I was bad.
Yeah, because Little Violence is like pretty heavy. Like that took me kind of out of left field because obviously it's so kind of colourful and sort of and poppy and punky, and then suddenly it's like this kind of heavy tune. And you're just like, whoa, like
yeah. See, the thing is, like a lot of the songs have darker themes, especially at least lyrically, and that one kind of got to take the dark, heavier thing on both sides. You know what I mean? Not just have like, because like Royal's like fucking sad. It's like not a happy song, but the music sounds super like uplifting and cool. Same with Gloom Boys. A lot of the songs are like that, and that one's one of the ones where we got to just kind of go in on it, and just be butthurt and angry and salty, like the saltiest little shitheads. Dude, the thing is, a lot of the songs I write are like, it's not cool, but they're like shitting on people. You know what I mean? And that's one of the only ones that's ever come out.
Yeah. So do you try and hold yourself back from doing that? Or
a little, just because I think it's a little bit,
but not much.
I'm just gonna say with whatever we do next, there's some stuff that I should not be saying.
So I think the first thing we need to talk about here is Water Sound, right?
I mean, that's probably going to be the biggest wedding of just ever. I was going to say of the year, but I think it's just going to be the biggest event of our lives.
Is that you actually confirming that the wedding is in place? Like, because rather than it being a romance, you basically said there that it is going to be a marriage, and it's confirmed. That was confirmed like months ago. Like I was not informed.
We're like fully engaged. I'm calling the caterers tomorrow.
This has blossomed already. This is a thing.
Oh yeah. This is totally a thing. Water Sound is a thing, and it is happening. And we're all gonna go to Las Vegas and get married to Elvis. Well, not to Elvis, but Elvis is gonna wed us.
I can't fucking wait to meet Elvis.
Oh man,
I hope it's the real one.
I hope Austin dresses up as Elvis.
Yeah, that needs to happen. Austin, make that happen, please.
Yeah.
Elvis wig, Elvis covers at the wedding.
I mean,
insane.
Do you know the film Dumb and Dumber when they get the tuxes
of course,
with like the quilted shirt,
frills.
the frills, and like the orange and blue with the top hats.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's what it's about. Like,
yes.
Not enough people get married in suits like that anymore. Like it's all boring black and white, and
there you go.
That's a proper wedding.
Water Sound marriage coming to an Instagram story near you soon.
Cannot wait. Look out for that. So to get into the music, I talked to Austin a lot about how versatile and eclectic they are as a band, and how they really ramp that up on Double Dare. And when you think about it, a bit like we were saying with Confidence, but just a different ballpark. When you think about it, that's a debut album. Where on earth are they going to go from there? I mean, there are clearly Waterparks songs written. I mean, Tamsin, what do you reckon?
I just want to see what's going on inside his mind, really, when he's creating songs. I think like the next album, whatever they create, is just going to be. I feel like it's going to be like going to a zoo at midnight when you're a bit drunk.
Have you been to a zoo at midnight when you're a bit drunk?
You can do that, can't
I know
you?
you can, and I feel like that's what Waterparks' next album is going to be.
What do you mean you can do that?
You can do that. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Why is no one... What?
Jack's mind is blown.
We'll have this conversation after the podcast.
Yeah,
I'll give you all the
Please
information.
inform me,
Anyway,
bloody hell.
yeah, and what I love about Waterparks is they're all clearly really, really talented musicians. Like, Austin can riff harder than probably some metal guitarists in this scene, but they all just straight up love pop music and have absolutely no guilt about that. No shame. They're just making the music they want to make, and they don't really care if you don't like it.
Totally, and that's what I want to see on the next album. I mean, I want them to get someone screaming on that album. You know,
oh my god, can you imagine? Should we get Sam Carter on the Waterparks?
Oh, but my head would explode. I would not listen to the full album. I would die. It would be
that would be the end of Will Cross.
Sam Carter going for it over a bubbling synth.
Oh,
moving up.
Man,
yeah, into a filthy breakdown.
Man, make it happen. Or Caleb Shomo. I mean, we've chatted about this, you know, outside of recording. Maybe Caleb Shomo, Waterparks Beartooth tour as well.
Bear Parks, Watertooth, you know.
Watertooth.
Yeah, Watertooth.
Let us know which name you prefer. I mean, I think as well they've become really good friends with Creeper. They've toured in the States with them.
Yeah.
I think they should get Will Gould on board.
I mean, like those two bands are like on the complete opposite sides of like the musical spectrum, but that may be why it would work so well.
That's what I'd love to see.
It'll be something that people won't expect, but it will work because those two bands like are both on exceedingly good levels in their own ways.
Totally, I'd love to see him come up with like some sort of like Gonzo Disney like tune. That would be so sick.
Will from Creeper loves Disney, so I can imagine him being completely down with just doing some Disney-esque like anthem on the next Waterparks album.
Oh man,
I think what's amazing about Austin though is when you're listening to him talk is just how all of these ideas just burst out of his head. Like you can hear him when he's like the songs which he's written, he does like a little bassy or whatever, and it's just normal to him because he's like it's how his brain works, and that's how like Double Dare was made. Like it's just an album of such like stretch of music that they can go anywhere they want with it currently now and play with whoever they want. And like if you think of the reaction that they got from Slam Dunk, like playing with All Time Low, which is huge for them, like they can go anywhere in the next year, and he's happy to do that. Like they'll just fly. Like anything could happen, and I think that's the most exciting part of it.
I agree. I mean, like we say, you know, like you say, playing All Time Low, and we could imagine him playing with Beartooth. I mean, I could even see, I mean, Carly Rae Jepsen came up in our chat. I could even see him supporting someone like Carly Rae or Grimes or someone like
Carly
that.
Bay.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine like a Carly Rae guest spot?
But I think it'd work. Like they've got that potential to like push into that world of just like they could be a radio band if they wanted to. They could be a fucking hardcore band if they wanted to. Like just the stretch of talent that's in there, and like just the possibilities, they're just endless. Like if they want to go with Carly Rae, they could go with Taylor Swift, they could go with anyone.
Man,
like
be so good.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
For Waterparks.
They are, and I think as well, and that versatility and the fact that, like you guys say, we don't know what's coming next. I think that sense of intrigue and kind of like that excitement is what's made them the hottest band in our world. In that there's just so much going on that so many people can get involved with it, and I think that's the best thing of all, really. Right. So Tamsin. Hello. Who have we got next?
We have got another Australian band. This time, a few albums in, they're kind of learning a lot more about themselves. It is, of course, Tonight Alive. They've just finished up recording their new album in Thailand, which looks dreamy, by the way. They've signed Hopeless Records, and in this chat, they talk a lot about moving on from Limitless, how it didn't feel right for them, it didn't feel fun for them. I feel like the album was quite controversial for a lot of reasons. A lot of people didn't really expect it, and they kind of go into depth in this chat about, you know, what went wrong, I suppose. I don't want to call it a mistake. Nothing's really a mistake when it comes to music, but I feel like they're really learning from, you know, what they did, and they're so excited about this new record as well. And it's really honest. It's them opening up and just talking about like the new music, what we can expect. Yeah, this is it. This is Jenna and Wack from Tonight Alive.
Jenna, Wack, lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So I guess to get started then, with the new music, World Away, you've signed to Hopeless. How did it all come about? Tell me the story.
We've had a relationship with Eric Tobin at Hopeless since before we were signed to anybody in 2009, I think, maybe even, or 10. We had the first conversation with Eric, and the plan originally was to sign with Hopeless, but it wasn't the right time, and the circumstances were not aligned for us to sign to Hopeless at the time. So our relationship continued all these years. He's actually really good friends with our manager, Michael Kaminsky.
They live in the same
They
house.
actually live in the same house. So we have spent a lot of time together and developed a relationship over the years. And same thing with UNFD in Australia. We met Jadden maybe 2011, 2010. So again, it was like really like the first few years that we were a band. And these are people I feel that have believed in our band for a really long time and, you know, cheered us on from a distance and seen us do what we've done in the last 9 years without them. And it's really cool because we signed to Sony when we were two years old as a band. And that was a deal that was going to last 5 years. So it's like a huge chunk of our career spent with the same people, same minds, same perspective on the band, the same mission in a way. And it's just really exciting to be at this stage. In numerology, 9 years is the end of a cycle. Yeah. So it's really exciting now that we've been able to re-sign with people that really believe in our band, that we have good relationships with, and they've excited us, you know, because we have a vision for our band. I think a lot of
There's a lot of, I think there was a lot of barriers. I think
we had barriers for sure.
But I think the people that we worked with at Sony also had barriers as well. I guess that label in Australia does one thing really well, and I guess we don't really fit into that. Yeah. So I guess it was a couple of years of trying to figure out where we stood with the company and all that kind of stuff. But now with Hopeless and UNFD, it's kind of like there are no barriers, and their A&R of the record was just
make the record you want to make.
Make the record you want to make.
They pretty much said that, right?
Yeah, and
I feel like that was almost the exact language. Cool.
Yeah, and they just said, just go crazy and do what you want, which is kind of scary for me because I've the A&R at Sony, Paul Harris. I would work really closely with him, and so it was kind of weird to have complete free reign, but it's definitely so less stressful. I don't feel stressed at all, and we're going to go record. We're flying there tomorrow to start recording the new album, and I don't feel stressed. I remember this time when we were making Limitless, and I was like pulling my hair out.
Yeah, it was unpleasant. Like we were unhappy in a way. Like I don't know, it just felt like there are a lot of boundaries and a lot of like tight avenues that you would bounce off the walls if you tried to take a sidestep. It just kind of felt like that a little bit. So what's cool now is we'll send songs to our A&Rs and they'll be like, just go nuts, just like, why don't you try this, and like referencing Nirvana and referencing No Doubt, and I mean, not that any of the songs we've written sound like that, but they're just like, just go mental, and we're like, great. It's just so nice to have someone encourage that, because I know that's within me, and I just haven't really been in the right position to.
It's kind of like unlearning, though, in a way. It's kind of like we've had a mindset for so long, and we're unlearning that now. Yeah, which is I think a really cool like metaphor anyway for our lives. Anyway. For life.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, so did you feel about what you're saying? Did you feel that maybe the fun got taken out in making Limitless? Like it didn't feel as fun a process? Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't fun at all.
Yeah.
Creatively though, it was extremely like important to me that time. I think that I grew the most creatively I've ever had. But yeah, it definitely wasn't fun because it was. I think it was just really pushing the boundaries, which I really wanted to do anyway. And not to say that we've done anything that we hadn't wanted to do, because we wanted to make Limitless, and that was such a conscious choice to expand on our writing skills and our recording and different styles, and I didn't want to do the same thing again. I feel like we only have a few chances to make an album in our career, so I want everything to kind of be different and to push ourselves, and that's what Limitless was. But I think for this next record, like, I just have such a clear, I know exactly what it needs to be. The songs have come really easy. We've written 20-something songs in 3 months, and they just really, everything just came really easy. So I think this one is going to be really fun. We're doing it with the guy who produced The Other Side and The Edge and all that stuff. Awesome. So
his name's Dave Petrie.
His name's Dave Petrie.
The guy.
We live around the corner from him in Australia, and we're just going to have a great time and just do what we know how to do and love it. So that's
kind of what called us this time, is just like go and enjoy the process and like do it with someone who really knows us and understands us and that we connect with. And for me, I just really wanted to enjoy it. Yeah. That's why we're going to Thailand, and that's why we're recording with Dave, and that's why we were able to write the record in 3 months, because we're just in a really healthy mind space now that everything's finished and starting again. And
which came from doing Limitless.
Yeah, it all had to happen.
Yeah, it had to happen. You have to go to your darkest place to get to the light, kind of thing. And I think that really happened. Yeah,
for sure. And like in terms of World Away, then how much of that is a hint into what's to come?
I think that's a pretty good like indicator. Yeah. I think there's a lot of like mid-tempo songs on Limitless, and I think we've kind of sped things up a bit. Cool. I feel like it's a really good balance between what we've done in the past and Limitless, and kind of breaking through to some new things that it sounds a bit heavier, I think, and getting the old electric guitar out again, and
I'm excited about it because like I really admire records that are listenable, and that might sound weird, but that's always a term I use because I want to listen to a record from start to finish and enjoy the whole thing and be on a journey. And I've always thought that our sound is bipolar. I just always said that because I don't think we are strictly genre based or directed, and every song on the album that we've last released and before are really different. So this is a real family of songs, and
still different though, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely a diversity on the record for sure, but like I just want to dance around. Like we've always cared about writing music that was going to be well translated live. So I'm just pumped to like lose my shit on stage basically when we put our new record out. It's not like I've never done that before, but it's just exciting when you write new music to do it too.
Yeah, definitely. So does that mean there's going to be quite a rock edge to the album? Yeah, for sure. Like it's going to be quite a live ready album.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we've been describing our sound as conscious rock. So we got coined as pop punk a long time ago because all our favourite bands were pop punk, and pop punk at the time was Blink, Green Day,
New Found
Glory, Simple Plan, like Good Charlotte, and Sum 41. Exactly, like all these bands were our favourite bands in high school, and that was pop punk. But like pop punk's changed a lot, and I guess I got excited and I wanted us to be a pop punk band, so I definitely slapped that under Tonight Alive, and we got put in this category that we don't really belong in anymore. And we would do tours with Story So Far and Man Overboard and Citizen and bands like that we don't sound anything like, and actually have very different fan bases. So it's just exciting now.
Yeah, I remember one of the shows at Story So Far, and Citizen played before us, and then I watched as the crowd literally like shuffled like that, and like their fans went up the back, and then our fans came up to the front. I'm like, I'll never forget that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was so weird. That whole tour was really weird. But yeah, as Jenna said, I guess like we've never been able to like place ourselves like really comfortably within a genre, and I've always wanted. Had the thing I wanted to make our own genre. Like I've always wanted to kind of lead the way. I feel like Tonight Alive has never really sat in a group of bands together, you know. So it has been about accepting that, and I really like that we coined this term conscious rock.
Yeah, I mean the music is all about the message anyway. The music just carries the message that we're saying, so it just fits perfectly. It's not really defining the sound; it's just defining the entity or the essence of Tonight Alive is conscious rock.
For sure. Like I guess as well, like on Limitless, there was quite there was a 90s element. Like I know you took a lot of inspiration from Alanis Morissette vocally and things like that. Is that something that could continue over again?
Definitely.
Definitely
it's definitely bled in even more so. Like that record, we wanted it to feel and sound and look like a throwback record, like even down to the artwork. I wanted it to look like Jimmy Eat World.
But in the way of those records meant something. Those records lasted.
Yeah.
I'm so conscious about things that come out now, and the internet, everything's so fast. It's that, what is it? It's constant, like everything is right. Gratification.
Is that what you're gonna say?
I think that's what I was.
I don't know if it's right.
I don't think, maybe that's not the right.
I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
And I just wanted to make something that was lasted and sounded like a classic album, I guess. So that's why we kind of and I relate that in my mind as the stuff that came out in the 90s and the 2000s and stuff, and those albums that it actually really fucking mattered, and that's what I wanted to do.
Those records still stand up now when you put it on your iPod or something like that. It's just, they still give you the same feelings you got when you were 13, you heard it for the first time. So that was what was important to us on the other side. And now, I mean, going to Limitless is kind of going into like a sophisticated musicality world where everything was very, very polished. So this time, I don't know, I just want to experiment, and I've always wanted to do that. I just want it to all be experimental. Like, if it's weird and strange and funky, let's do it. Like, but not in a contrived way, just that if it comes naturally, if it's an idea and it feels right, just do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, a bit of a tangent.
Oh, I cannot wait to hear it. I mean, in terms of curveballs then, can we expect some?
Always expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess so. Like, like what would a curveball be for you? What do you think?
I guess just like something completely, I guess you sort of mentioned, I mean, you've had it a bit already, but like with some like those funky elements and things like that. I mean, there's definitely been a bit of no doubt to your music before and things like that, which I love. Like, I guess what I mean is, would we see maybe even like a pushing further of some of those things?
Yeah, I think that was a great thing about UNFD and Hopeless, is when we were saying that before, they wanted us to push that. And we wrote a song, just maybe it's the second last song that we wrote, that has like a bit of a rap thing in the.
I can't believe it. That sentence is so funny, but yeah, just got this little rap rhythm thing. And I mean, I don't scream like a metal vocalist or anything, but I'd love to yell. I'd love to yell like the way that Burt McCracken used to. And he doesn't do it anymore, but like on those old records, and he just sounds exasperated and he's just desperate, and I love that. It gives me goosebumps even just saying it. So yeah, I mean, I want to play. Like, I'll probably wait till we finish the record, and then when I can burn my voice out, just throw it around. That's what we did with Human Interaction. I don't know if people can really tell, but like in the bridge and the outro, I'm throwing my voice, and like when I'm saying I will be better, it's like it's like how you'd say it if you were yelling to someone from a distance and you're crying, and it's like I just want everything to come out at once.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely be playing around.
Awesome.
In the studio.
Cool. And like, I guess as well, like going on that tangent then of that kind of maybe sort of some heavier vibes, and like, I mean, on the other side there's songs like The Fire and things like that, which you hear used influence on, I think, even a bit of Finch, something like that.
Really?
Like, yeah, that's
awesome.
To my ears, I get. I mean, like, is that something then that we might be hearing again as well?
There's definitely some pretty heavy parts, I think.
It's cool because Papyrus' favourite bands are Parkway Drive and August Burns Red and Rufio, which are all guitar-driven bands, and all he does is sit there and riff, and I feel like I missed him doing that.
All he does is sit there and riff.
No, I just mean like when we're sound checking, or like when we're practicing, or when we're writing, it pisses me off because I'm like, can you focus? Because he's just riffing. I'm not saying you're a riff god. I'm just saying like he spent his whole teenage years like learning how to play riffs, and it's just fun like being able to hear him do that again personally. And for me, like I like to sing as naturally as I can. Like that's why I like writing songs like The Greatest and Human Interaction, because it's just how my voice sounds when I speak and sing it. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to try that hard on those types of songs. So yeah, it's a real mix of like what comes naturally to us and what's just kind of like inbuilt in the way that you learn to play music when you're a kid. So I want to hear that again.
Yeah.
I want to express that again.
And can we expect the album this year?
Not this year.
Unfortunately, no. But we will hear more music this year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely like release a single soon, and like a video, and maybe be early next year, I think.
Cool. So when can we expect the music? Maybe summer, autumn?
Yeah, around September, I guess.
Awesome. So yeah, really, really revealing, interesting chat with Jenna and Wack. Firstly, I'm just going to say I love Bits of Limitless. Like the first two tracks, To Be Free and Oxygen, are bangers. I don't know if you guys agree.
I when I first heard it, the first single, I actually was kind of vibing a bit. I was like, it's different, but we'll see how it goes, sort of thing. And I was like, okay, I can work with this. And I kind of, when I heard it, I was like, it sounds like an Avril Lavigne album. And
it does.
You can kind of take that statement however you want.
A very good way.
I was always a big fan of Avril Lavigne.
It's modern classic there.
Yeah,
mate,
exactly.
Let Go, banger album.
But I think Tonight Live know it as well. It wasn't true to them, and
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they went in going like, this is the album we need to make, not the album we want to make. And I think that really shows in Limitless. Like you said, there are some really, really good elements to it. There's some really good songwriting in there, but it didn't have the heart and the passion that so much of their other albums. And I know bands need to change and develop like with each album that they make, and they don't just want to make the same album they made when they were like 18 or whatever. But I feel like the chat was it's really good to kind of see a band being like, you know what, it wasn't great. We didn't really enjoy it, but now we've learned from it and we're going to absolutely smash it out of the park with this one.
That's it. It's like they said, you know, it led them to now, you know.
Yeah.
So this album could potentially be massive. I mean, what we're thinking of World Away, that's the first taster we've got.
I think that's really like it's them being back to what they should, not what they should be, but you know who they are. And I think if the rest of the album is like that, like we're really in for a treat.
Yeah, it feels like themselves again. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we chatted about curveballs on the album as well. I mean, they hinted at certain things. One thing we've got to talk about is Jenna talking about the rap section that she's laid down for a track. I am so excited about that. Jack?
Well, just to say on Limitless, I'm a drive boy completely. I think that's my favourite on there.
Nice.
Yeah. No.
You can't see this right now because obviously, you know, there's no visuals to a podcast, but Jack is literally doing the dance from the music video. And
new banger.
It was very good. It was very active.
That was just a very special moment.
But yeah, the rap part. I think it's a very exciting kind of prospect because, like, as it said, the Limitless was the album which they felt they had to make. Now, having the confidence to be able to do something as exciting and out there as that, like, you don't know which way it's going to end up. Like, I remember there was a track a few years ago, it was Within Temptation, which featured Exhibit. And, like, if you don't know Within Temptation, like, the sweeping, beautiful symphonic metal, like, gorgeous song. And then in the chorus, out of nowhere, suddenly Exhibit comes in with just this huge gangster rap part where it's like, don't blink, you'll miss it. and because it's so bizarre, it was so brilliant. And in this bit, if Jenna's going in with that, like, she just goes in with a yo, whatever.
Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, if she goes in with,
I could totally see that happening.
If she went in with an Iggy, like, why the fuck not? Like, it's, if they're feeling confident in what they're doing now, like, so be it. And if they're feeling this sort of vibe, like, you know, on top of it, Tamsin said that they've been in Thailand. They've been there for like 40 days doing this album. They've been taking the time, like in the studio updates, they're doing fucking yoga, they're climbing mountains while singing. Like, it looks amazing. And like actually taking the time with these songs, if they're feeling that vibe, well, do it. Like,
definitely. I mean, I think they're going to really do us proud with this. And I mean, as well, on the kind of flip side to the rapping, Jenna was talking about, you know, old kind of early noughties emo records, like the Used, the self-titled Used album. Talking about Burt McCracken and the way he used to scream and sing, and trying to filter a bit of that into her voice as well. That's another thing that I would love to hear her do.
I've always wanted Jenna to just like properly let it the fuck out and just go for it. Because it's always been there. You can hear it on World Away when it's like, there's the moment when she gets a bit more melodic and goes up. Imagine that, like, with a proper mosh call in there as well. And if she's got that in her, like, to do it,
I think she totally has it in her. It's just finding that song to let it out with, which could be on the new album.
I totally agree. Well, I mean, talking about Whack being a bit of a riff lord, you know, and like sitting there.
So basically,
riffing.
we're gonna have like a hip hop rap kind of, you know, little jam going in there, and then the next song.
So a rage album, basically.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have like a ridiculous breakdown, mosh pits galore, and Jenna just screaming her guts out. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
I mean, now that you've said that, I'll be really disappointed if it's anything but that.
Yeah,
If you're just like, oh, this is an album of brilliant pop rock songs. Oh, but where's
the breakdown?
Where's the guttural?
Yeah, exactly. Where's like boneyards or whatever? Like, yeah. I mean, again, it's like with Carl and Waterparks. I mean, even though they're a slightly elder band, there are so many things that could happen the next year, and that's so exciting. So do us proud, guys. Awesome. Cool. So to finish off today, our last chat is with Kellen and Nick from Sleeping with Sirens. Now, to talk about things to come and new horizons, this is the ultimate, really. Sleeping with Sirens have just announced their new album, Gossip. They've released the first single from the album, Legends, and it is a whole new Sleeping with Sirens. I mean, as you'll hear on the chat, the band are acutely aware of this. They're going to be supporting Rise Against in November too, which again, it's all very risky and all very exciting at the same time because of this huge shift in sound, potentially leaving the Warped Tour scene behind. So yeah, a lot of questions and hopefully a lot of interesting answers. So yeah, before we have a chat about it, here we go. Kellen and Nick from Sleeping with Sirens. Awesome. So Kellen, Nick, lovely to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
We appreciate having us.
So it's a whole new era for Sirens. How's it feeling?
Feels good, man. I think it's a whole new era in general.
Is it era or era?
You said era.
Not either. Like.
I think it's a whole new world in general. Like, with everything that's going on, and we felt like, as we grow older and see the world in a different way, our music is bound to kind of turn with it. So, this record is very exciting for us. Yes, it's different, but it's an exciting different.
Yeah, it feels like we're going into a world of unknown, but in the most exciting way possible. You can't help but be, there's some fear there, but for the most part, it's just anxious. Like we're just ready for that new era of Sirens for sure.
Definitely, that's awesome. And it seemed quite an intense process. You worked with Bendeth, and take us inside it. Like
Bendeth is a very he loves to get into your head. He's almost like going to see a psychiatrist, especially when you first start. He told me what he likes to do is he likes to put you in a room and clutter it up with a bunch of shit to where you can't get out. It's like you paint yourself into a corner, and then you finally drop the brush and give up. That's when he steps in and kind of starts to work things out with the band. Because, when you work with any other producer, just when you're used to doing everything on your own all the time, you're used to doing it a certain way, and he's very methodical in the way he does things. And so what he'll do is he'll let you try, and then when you get to the part where you're just like, fuck, I don't know what to do, what do you want from me? And then he's like, I'll show you what to do.
He's really good at bringing out the best in you and bringing out things that you didn't know you could do, that he knows from the beginning that you're capable of doing. So there's moments where you're writing or you're in the studio with him and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do what he wants. And then you realize, with just his magical kind of push, that you finally get over that hurdle, and then you're like, fuck yeah, he pushes you to the brink, but in the most positive way possible. But at the time, you just want to fucking strangle him.
Amazing. And in the studio piece with you, Kellen, you said the album is very unique. Can I take us inside that?
Yeah, it's unique in the sense of, it's probably the most different format of writing for the band. I spent a lot of time kind of in exile on my own, working on lyrics and dialing all that stuff in, and then just kind of having the support of the band behind me to do that is, I'm very thankful for the dudes in that way. And I feel like everybody grew so much as musicians on this album. Jack's grown as a guitar player, Nick's grown as a writer, I've grown as a vocalist, everybody, Justin, Gabe, they've grown too. But it's all taking baby steps and learning what to do and how to do it properly. I think that's what makes this record so unique. It's, you can almost feel it. You can feel it when you hear it, you can feel the time that it took to put into it, and the finished product definitely shows.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because you were using examples like Riot by Paramore and The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, American Idiot. Like, so with these big kind of epic albums, was that the kind of sound you were going for?
No, what I meant by that statement was just that I feel like our band is kind of, throughout the years and our records have been searching to find out what is Sleeping with Sirens and what does Sleeping with Sirens sound like. I feel like there's bits and pieces of it everywhere, but I feel like we were wanting to make those records. I'm talking about those are the records that were the staple albums that define those bands as sounding like, hey, that's what Paramore sounds like, that's what My Chem sounds like. That's what I feel like this record is for us.
Cool, because you mentioned as well, you was kind of saying when you described the sound of the record, you mentioned kind of bands like Coldplay and Kings of Leon and things like that as well.
So has a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah, and that's quite. I mean, I guess there were elements maybe of that hints of that on Madness. Songs like The Strays and things like that. I mean, like, is that something then that you've kind of looked to kind of push even further?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those bands are bands that I, would love to see us being anywhere near someday. Those are bands that I would go see in concert right now and enjoy that show and sing along. And I feel like as I get older, I want to make music that sounds more my age, rather than trying to be 18 all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm 31, I don't look 31, I don't feel 31, but I am 31, and I am going through things in my life, where it's like going from like being a boy to becoming a man, and I feel like this record is definitely a coming of age for me.
All the bands that I'm inspired by or that I love, I love the Beatles, I love Queen, I love The Clash, I love bands that, not necessarily have a grown-up sound, but
even punk band, if I can interrupt, I'm sorry, but even punk bands that you love, there's a point where
The Clash.
You couldn't keep making the same punk records over and over again because you're not 15 or 16. But you can still be a punk rocker at fucking 31 years old.
Of course. And it's just it's a natural progression as artists, that's where we're at in our lives. It's like we're not going to write the same records that we wrote when we were 16, 17 years old. Mm-hmm. We're going to write albums like we're 30 years old, We can't ignore that, and we want to we want to be grown up, we're not kids anymore. We still have the heart of being kids. We act like kids all the time, but
I think it shows when bands continue to try to act like kids and make records like kids, and they're not. It's it's almost weird. Because they're our peers and we hang out with them and we're like, you guys are grown up.
So that was a real big part then of the writing and recording that
we wanted to make sure that it felt current for us, with our age and our time, and we want our fans to grow up with us. Like, there might be some fans that don't get this record, and that's okay. For us, it's important to be true to ourselves as artists, and in order to do that, you have to take chances and you have to take risks. And if you're not willing to do that, then the fuck out of the kitchen.
Yeah, if we weren't taking risks, then we would be bullshit artists. And it's like the last thing I ever want to be, or that I ever want this band to be, is bullshit.
Dude, honestly, like I felt kind of like a bullshit artist the last 2 years, and I think that's why this record is what it is. Like I felt like a part of me, like that coming of age and growing up. I'm like, okay, I'm 29, I'm 30, doing Warped Tour again. Nothing against Warped Tour, I love Warped Tour, and I love all of where we came from. But a part of me was just kind of like, what's next for me? Like, where does this go? Like, has to go somewhere. I can't stay here. And I'm not ready to give up or stop making music. So where does it go? Well, their natural progression is to make music that sounds more grown up. So.
Because you guys redid your time on Warped Tour as well. I mean, so does this kind of feel, I guess, kind of almost like graduation of sorts?
Yeah, man, we played a show last night in Berlin. It was kind of like the closing of the Madness book and kind of everything prior. When you're on stage and you play some of these songs, for me, like playing James Dean is still a great song. It's a great love song, and I remember who I was and where I was when I wrote that song, and those feelings are still very much there. But playing it over and over and over again, compared to what we have coming up now, it seems strange, It seems like a week ago seems like decades ago, so James Dean seems like a million years ago.
No, I bet. I mean, so in terms of those kind of songs, you know, like James Dean, If You Can't Hang, even stuff off Feel, like, I mean, will we still see those things in the set, or,
of course.
you know,
I mean, especially, you know, what's cool and what I love about some of my favorite bands is sometimes you'll go on a tour and you will never hear that song, and you'll walk away going, man, they didn't play If You Can't Hang, or they didn't play James Dean. But then you'll go see them on another tour and they'll just fucking throw it in there, and you'll be like, holy shit, they just played, you know, James Dean or If You Can't Hang. I think it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be, if we decide we want to play it, we're going to play it. If we don't, then we don't, you know.
Yeah, the last thing we ever want to do is ignore our roots. Like that's we're not those kind of artists, but we definitely are looking forward to.
We don't want to feel like we have to.
No, yeah, and we're just extremely proud of what we currently made with Gossip. So, you know, we want to boast that. You know, we want to play those songs. We're excited to just enter that chapter right now, but at the same time, you know, not ignore who we are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys are coming back to our shores with Rise Against. Is there going to be a lot of Gossip material? Can we expect it?
I would think so.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot of rock songs. I mean, we're going on tour with rock veterans right there. So I don't know that necessarily we're going to be playing the Strays on that one. But I think there are interesting ways in taking some of our songs, you know, like the Strays, and maybe just doing it acoustic or stripping something down and giving it that kind of a vibe. I've been wanting to do that with Heroin, like maybe doing something just piano and vocals. We get creative when it comes to stuff like that. So it's going to be fun preparing for that tour and putting that one together. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, we started talking about that of, you know, thinking of our current set and now adding in songs from Gossip and just going, shit, like, we got to, like, figure out how to, like, you know, lead this path every set now that, you know, it all fits together. But I think it's going to be pretty seamless, and I think that's going to be the fun part, is intertwining everything together, all the different chapters of Sirens into one massive set, you know.
As much as this record is new for us, I think you're going to see a whole new Sirens in general, like when it comes to approaching our live performances and stuff. I think that it's going to be really exciting to see, you know. It's funny, like on this last tour that we were just on, just kind of seeing the way some bands do things and approach things, in the way that I imagine this album has like a look. It's got a vibe to me. It's got to feel that way live. And, you know, we can't necessarily do like our own thing on the Rise Against tour, but definitely when it comes to like our live show, it's gonna have a theme and it's gonna have a look and it's gonna have a feel, just like the record.
God, I'm fucking excited.
Me too.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, just chatting to you guys now and chatting about the record, like it feels like you're so invigorated by it. You know, is that the whole process has been so kind of important?
I think it's one of those things where we just said this, you know, a little bit ago, but I feel like it's back to that point where it started almost, where it's like kind of you against the world, and you have to kind of like show them who you are. And this record to me is a brand new start. It's a let's show you who we are. I want it to be a challenge. I want to learn. I want to be excited to learn again. You know, when you first start as a band and you're in the fucking basement and you're trying stuff out, like that's what this is for us. It's falling in love with music again.
Yep. Man, that's so awesome. So I guess to get into the album as well then, like, first take me inside the title, like Gossip, where'd it come from?
We weren't going to name it anything, actually. It was just going to be self-titled. But I remember calling both Nick and Jack, because they're the two people that I call when I'm home all the time. Like, I call Nick almost every day, and I call Jack almost every day. And I was just like, you know what? I want to name this record. I think Gossip should be the name. And the reason being is because it is a new sound and it is different. People are going to talk about it. And I thought that was just such a cool concept for a title. It's like, people are going to talk, so let's name it that. Let's name it Gossip.
Legends is going to be the first single.
Yeah.
I mean, where that hits a track 3 and you're kind of like, that really stands out, you know, it's this kind of huge anthemic tune. Like, was that the kind of the thought behind writing that, to play in potentially big venues and things like that?
No, man, that song was, I wrote that song with this friend of ours, Stevie ILO, who, you know, he plays bass in 30 Seconds to Mars, and he's an awesome guy. We were just thinking about something that felt larger than life, and you know, he's like, I got this idea, here's what the music is, and he had kind of a different vibe as far as lyrics. And Legends, after all, to me means like, you know, we can do this, we can do something important. And that's, that whole song is about that. It's about following your heart, following your dreams, and if you put enough work into it, enough time into it, eventually, yes, maybe we could be legends after all.
Awesome. So, quite the revealing chat there, I think. Gossip is, as you've all heard on Legends, a real turning point for Sleeping with Sirens. Tamsin, what are you saying?
I mean, this is a whole new era, really, for the band, isn't it? They've been at this for, I don't even know how long, a long time.
It's about 7 years, really.
Little
Facts
little
with
fact
Jack
there for you.
Rogers, yeah.
They know that, but the thing is, like, they're all at the age now where they know what they want to do, and if this is the sound they want to go for, like, do it. Like, do what makes you happy. I think it's probably gonna throw quite a lot of fans off and just be a bit, like, I think we probably will be like, oh, this is different. But I think everyone's gonna really warm to it, and I think as well the band just, like, they're so excited about what they're creating and what they've put into it as well. Like, you can't fault their passion for the new music coming out. So it's going to be a really, really interesting time for them. Like you said, they're supporting Rise Against, which is kind of completely different.
They're not going to be playing the Strays, that's
going to be a really interesting show, and I'm really interested to see how the Rise Against crowd take to Sleeping with Sirens as well. So I think even with, like, Sleeping with Sirens, like, heavier, earlier stuff, Rise Against fans might be a bit like, what's this?
Yeah.
But
it's an excellent impression of the average Rise Against fan. What bloody hell is this shit?
Yeah. But so, I think that's going to be a really interesting tour, and I think it's going to be cool to kind of just see it all, like, happen over the next few weeks and months as it, like, more and more comes out about the album and about what they're doing and stuff. So I think we're in for a very interesting few months.
Definitely. I mean, like I say, being an older band now, it really feels like they're leaving the whole Warped Tour scene behind. I mean, like you say, bringing new fans on board potentially. I mean, could this be, just open it out there, could this be a way into, like, the Glastonbury world for Sleeping with Sirens? It's a bizarre thing, but...
Sleeping with Sirens at Glastonbury? Jack, you've been to Glastonbury.
I have been to Glastonbury.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'd say possibly, because the interesting thing which Kellen did, he name dropped Coldplay, and he said we want to be like Coldplay, and within that, like, it's a huge shout to be able to say, like, a band of that size. But if you're aiming for that crowd, like, why the fuck not? Can't you, like, open, like, one of the small stages, or, like, show it off? Like, it's a completely different world, it's a completely different time for them, and if they're able to bridge that gap between, like, our world and the wider world, like, there's no stopping them, really. Yeah, it's kind of like, is the risk worth it? I'd say so, but at the same time, it's putting a lot on the line for it. Yeah, you say, sticking with Glasto, they can be in between, like, a 30-piece brass band and an African warbling tribe or something. Like, they can fit in the middle of there and like play play some breakdowns if they wish, or they can play, like, Legends a track it can fit on the radio.
Is it a risk though for them?
Oh yeah, big style, like, huge. But they've never done anything by half measures. Like, every album has been such a different step. Like, if you go between, like, James Dean up to tracks off Madness and everything in between there, and feel like an album like that when you've carved such a name for yourself as a poster boy for this in Kellen. And, like, when you're best mates with someone like Vic Fuentes, and who's, like, is so rooted in this, like, yeah, it's a risk and it could backfire, but, like, you don't get anywhere by, like, standing still.
Totally, no. I mean, I totally salute that. I mean, Feel, actually, I have to just give a shout out to. I love Feel. For an album that can have an opening track that's like that and sort of set this new era up to Gossip, mixed with a song with someone like Franz, is amazing. I think that's testament. I think that's testament now to. That was an early indicator of how ready to take risks Sirens were, and up to now it's paid off. So, will it pay off, Tamsin?
I hope so. I mean, like I said, they've been doing this for a while. They're gonna have to take a risk in a way. I think no one wants, as great as Feel is, no one wants to hear that album again.
No.
But I feel like they've kind of, Feel's got MGK on it.
Yeah.
And I feel they've kind of like just put a little like droplets of like what they want to do like into their albums, like ever since like with MGK and stuff, and just been like just gonna put this here, and when we do our album in 3 years time, just let that brew, and then like in 3 years time release this new album, and everyone's gonna be like, I see it. This is where they were going.
Flour.
Let it proof like a nice sourdough.
Yeah.
That's one way of putting it.
I went with flour. You went with sourdough.
Yeah.
Well, it's different.
Sourdough's a lovely bread.
Different minds, different needs, right?
I mean, and as well, I think they have a real respect for their legacy as well. Like they were saying in the chat. I mean, they're still going to play things like "If You Can't Hang."
Oh yeah, they're not just going to bin off their entire like back catalogue because they're like, well, we're this band.
Bands do it.
So many bands do it, but that's not them. Like they know where they came from. They know the songs that made them, the albums that made them. Like they're not just gonna be like, oh, see you later, Warped Tour, whatever. This is us now. But I do think this is like a whole new era for that band, and there's going to be some big changes for them.
Definitely, and I mean, they were bounding on the spot, while I was talking to them and things. So they're clearly so pumped by what they've come up with that, we can only wish them the absolute best of luck with it, and we hope all you guys out there dig it too. This has been incredible. I've had an awesome time. First time ever recording for the Rock Sound podcast.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah, you have fun, guys?
Yeah, it's been alright, hasn't it?
Yeah, nice time.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I can get on with this. It's nice.
Lovely stuff.
But also, I really hope that everyone else that's listening is enjoying it. Like, we could be having the best time ever, but if you guys aren't enjoying it, kind of maybe let us know. Just so
definitely.
We don't just keep putting these out and literally nobody is listening. Yeah, that would be really upsetting.
Well, that's the thing. I was going to say that we welcome your feedback very much. Very much from the get-go as well. So let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see, and we can hopefully make everything happen. So next week we're going to be back with interviews with Neck Deep, Pierce the Veil, State Champs, and Mice and Men. Same format to this week. We're just going to be chatting it out about all these really exciting bands and their exciting futures, bringing you absolute exclusive chats with them as well. Let us know what you're feeling. It's been incredible. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.